all those files will be included in this jar. So JRE, so Java runtime environment includes this Java virtual machine and set of libraries, okay, RT.jar, etc. And what is JVM? JVM is something like Java virtual machine. Okay, now come to this point now. Now Java virtual machine. JVM is actually Java virtual machine. It is an abstract machine. See, JRE you can physically exist. You can see in the JDK in the before version, like for example in the 7th or 8th version, you can see that. But in the most latest versions, they have upgraded to they are not showing in the JRE folder as separate one. They are included in the JDK itself. So here we have the JVM. JVM is actually Java virtual machine. It is an abstract machine. Virtually, it is an imaginative. Okay, it is not physically exist. Okay, and what it does, it is a specification that provides a runtime environment in which Java bytecode can be executed. See, once we run the Java file, we'll get the .class file, and those .class files, what it does, the JVM, that is where the JVM comes into picture. Okay, so what exactly JVM does? It performs four basic tasks. One is it loads the code, it verifies the code, it executes the code, and it provides runtime environment. Example, you have Java file. Once you are done with the code, what it does, it actually it has to load, and it has to check whether there is some exceptions or not. It has to verify it. There will be some runtime exceptions or compile time exceptions, so it has to check, and then only it has to go for the executions, and it will execute the code, and it gives some runtime environment. It gives a platform. That's why Java is also a platform, right? It gives a platform is something what I said. So any software or hardware in which a program runs is actually called as a platform. So that's what it does. And because of JVM and JRE, the platform independent feature is we have, right? That is why Java is so popular, JVM and JRE. Okay, so that's what about JVM, JRE, and JDK. JDK is something like Java Development Kit. So the combined together, JRE and other tools, combined together is called as the JDK. Fine. Okay. So that's what a brief description about Java and its applications, Java versions. Some brief introduction about JDK, JVM, and JRE. So I hope everyone has downloaded the Java and Eclipse. The setup is already done. If not, I'll let you know. I'll let you know now. Okay. So before jumping into the Java program, we'll see how to how to download Java, or how to download Eclipse, and how to do the setup and all. Okay, I'll just give a brief introduction about it. Yeah, okay. Let me switch to the browser to stop, and then I have to share it. Okay, so we'll see this later here. Okay, so regarding the Java downloads, I'll give you two ways. One is you can go to the Java download site. If you just write in the uh, browser Java Windows for Java download JDK or Java downloads, it will give the link Java SC downloads. SC stands for standard edition, right? So if you just go to this in these sites, so all the latest versions will be there. See, as I said earlier, this is the recent version, Java SC 15. So current month is October, right? So last I mean last month, last month they have updated this to SC 15. If you see, I'll just give you one introduction about that also. Java version history. If you check the Wikipedia page, I said earlier, right? So Java SE 7 and 8. And if you see about this Java SE 9 and 10, 11. So this is the no. Let me, yeah. Okay. See, in the month of September 2020, they have released Java SE 15. This is the latest version. Okay, and still in the March and September they're going to release another versions 16 and 17 soon. See, if you see the gaps in the Java SE 7 2011 and 8 2014, and if you see from Java SE 9, almost there are for every releases there are almost 6 month gaps, right? So the Java SE 9 was September 2017 release. So after 6 months, which is March, October, November, December, Jan, Feb. So obviously the March. So 6th month. This is the March. So this is the next version. The OS is 10. And similarly for every 6 months, they'll release the new versions. So that's what about this. And okay. And let me go to the again to this Java SE 15. So here in Java SE 15, suppose if you want to download the latest versions, you can go ahead with this JDK download. Just click on this JDK download. It will start downloading the Java. Once it starts, suppose if you see if you we have JDK download, and if you go down little bit, you have the older versions also like 14 or 11. These are the 11 also a stable version, and even the Java SE 8, it is also a stable version. So you can download this also. So mostly in all the IT industry, mostly they are using 8 Java SE 8 or 11. Okay, no more yeah. So this is the two one. Maybe some little bit of features will be there in each different versions, but mostly Java SE 8 and Java 11, they are almost equals to the latest versions. So Java SE8, suppose if you want to download this Java SE8, you can download this. And I think Java SE7 they are not giving for download because it is little bit older. So yeah, okay, we can download either Java 8 or even the other latest versions like 11 or 14 or 15. Okay, so yeah, so once you download this JDK download, it will start. Maybe I'll just show you. See, once you do this Java SE download, it will ask you for which. Okay, I have forgot to tell you one thing that see, Java is actually platform independent. Okay, you can run it anywhere in the Linux or Mac OS or Windows. It doesn't matter. But the JDK, I mean the what to say, the JDK or the JVM, the JDK, I mean the JRE runs inside it. It is actually platform dependent. Obviously, right? So for each OS, it has its own processes to do, right? So for each different OS, for each different architecture we have to download accordingly. For example, if you have a Linux with this package, you have to go with that, or if you have 32-bit architecture, you have to go with that. And suppose for Linux you have to download that particular file, and for the Mac OS you have to download particular, and for the Windows 64 installer you have to download the .exe file around 159 MB. So you can start downloading this. And Java, the latest versions, those are all not supported for the 32-bit architecture. So 64-bit architecture only, they will use. Suppose if a system has 32-bit architecture, so plan it accordingly. Maybe the JDK 8 is you may have 32-bit architecture. Even you can download that JDK accordingly. Okay. So once you download this, it will start downloading, and once it is downloaded, you have to give next and this finish it. Okay. So this is a general brief description about how you are going to download a JDK according to your OS type. Okay, the next one is Eclipse. We'll see also about the Eclipse. Okay, suppose if you want, you can note down the point also. In your notepad or in your system or wherever you want, your notebook or wherever. Okay, so the next one is Eclipse download. See, Eclipse also, has a different versions. We'll see one by one. Okay. Okay, Eclipse has different versions. Suppose if you see its releases, right, right from the Europa, it got started, and alphabetically, it got changed. This is the first version, and then it got changed to E, F, G. So the alphabetical order. So the similarly, Galileo, Ganymede, Helios, Indigo, Junos. So mostly, photon, oxygen, neon, Mars. So mostly, people in the IT industry use oxygen or neon or Mars. So no, these is the three versions mostly they are using, and these are the different versions. Okay, for each subsequent releases. 2018 in the December they have released. So this is the latest version, 2012 and this 12, right? You can download the Eclipse whichever you prefer. Okay. Once you download this, similarly, I mean, like once you download it, you can give next and then finish. Eclipse will be downloaded. Okay, like this it will show. We'll see about this after the once we start the Java program. Okay, so this is a brief description about what is Java, how to download the Java, and how to download Eclipse. Okay, generally what is Eclipse actually? Eclipse is actually a IDE. Okay, IDE is something like integrated development environments. See, we'll when we start the program, we'll see in Notepad how what will be the why we have to go with the IDs and what will be the problems we're going to face in the Notepad. Those things we'll see. So before this, you have to you have a setup this Eclipse and as well as the JDK in your machine. Okay, and so yeah, that's it. And we have one more thing to I have one more thing to say. So there is a website called as 98.com. Okay, NINITE 98.com. So if you see in the in these websites, so you have all the apps, okay, whichever you prefer. For example, in the each category wise, they have given. I just giving the some tips. So generally, it would be good if you go with this, this traditional way. But if you want, shortcut way, I I'm getting bored, with these things. I have to go with that particular site and I have to download everything. It is something, it will be lazy bum. So those things you can avoid it and you can directly go for the 9.8. Okay, so here in each category wise they have segregated. Like for example, for the browsers Chrome, Opera, Firefox. This is the major browsers we are using. So they have given, okay, and for the messaging, for all the messaging apps, all the media apps, VLC, Windows Media Player or AMP, so everything they have given in the runtime. Even the Java development, suppose if you want JDK8, you can download it from here also. Okay, no problems. It is a runtimes, so runtime is different but JDK is different. Okay, so you can here you have a developer tools, you can even download from here. Okay, JDK8. You have the utilities. Even if you see the tools, developer tools, you have the Eclipse also here. Okay, these are the IDs. Visual Studio Code, if you want to do it, mostly Visual Studio Code is used for the front end technologies like TypeScript or Angular, or JavaScript code, HTML, CSS stuff. For the front end stuffs, we'll use the Visual Studio Code, and for the back end stuff, we'll use the Eclipse IDE. Even the other IDE is also there. If you want prefer the other IDEs like what to say, other IDs like IntelliJ is there, WebStorm is there. Those are also all the popular, IDs. You can go ahead with that IDs also. But mostly in IT, in the IT industry, they'll use this Eclipse. Okay, Eclipse as a IDE in the backend, and for Visual Studio Code or IntelliJ, they'll use for the front end technologies. Okay, similarly, the same thing happens in my IT industry. I mean, in my company also, in the Ford company also. So that's what brief description. Even if you want to download any Python stuffs or any Notepad plus plus or any other tools, you can go ahead and you can download it from here. This is a small tip. I just wanted to tell you about this site. So the site, the main feature of this site is just whatever the applications you want, just check it. Suppose I want Chrome, I want Dropbox, I want some LibreOffice, and then I want some Spotify. So just download it, just check it here, and then get your 9.8. Just click on this. It will get installed. It will get the exe file will get generated, and once you click on that, so the installation, though automatically those all the files will get installed to your in your machine. That's the main feature of this 98.com. Okay. Okay, so that's what I wanted to give a brief description about how you will going to download the JDK or Eclipse. Okay, so maybe break here. Maybe you can try in your in order to install JDK machine. So suppose if you are facing any problems, just let me know. We'll see. So now the time is 11:43, right? So we'll give a 15 minutes break. At 12 o'clock, we'll continue. Okay, we'll see the Java programs. We'll try to execute in our IDs and in as well as in the text. Okay, is that fine, Farzan?
Yes, Ashwam, bhai.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
we have shared the download link for Java as well as for Eclipse in the WhatsApp group. You can
Yeah.
click on the link and you can download. It is a
Okay.
simple step. You have to just click next, next, next. If you are facing something error during the installation process, you can let me know in the WhatsApp group. We'll be forwarding to you.
Yeah, sure. And I hope you have sent it in the mail also, right, Farzan?
Uh, no, no, we have shared the download link only into the
In
WhatsApp
the
group.
WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe you guys can just copy that and you can share it to your Gmail. You have a share option there. You can share it to your Gmail, or you can copy, even you can copy and you can paste it there. If you
Yeah,
have a
no problem.
WhatsApp, desktop
Yeah,
WhatsApp also. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
fine. Yeah, okay, guys. So the time is 11:45 now. So we'll be back at 12 o'clock. Okay. Thanks.
One announcement. No need to go out of the session, so you can be
Yeah, you can
ideal.
be in the session. Yeah.
You can
You,
be ideal. We can
yeah.
start within a few minutes.
Yeah, you can do experiment in your machines. Then later we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, hello. Is it audible, Farzan?
Yeah, yes, Prem.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So one second. Yeah, friends. So welcome to the second session. So here we're going to focus, more about Java programs. The compilation flows, like Java setup and Eclipse setup we did, I think. Okay. Then we'll go for the how to set path in Java, some Java programs, compilation flows, data types in Java, typecasting, variables, constants, operators in Java. How will you get the input from the user and different control statements like if else, okay, like while loop, other loops, for loop, do while loop. Those things we'll see one by one. Okay, so that's the main idea now. Okay, I hope everyone downloaded JDK and Eclipse and installed in your machines. If
Uh,
not, please let me know. We'll set up accordingly. Otherwise, you can have, suppose for the, for the practice purpose, you can have, you can use the online compiler also. You can just go to the internet, try to write, online compiler, Java online compiler. You'll get so many, sites. For example, Java T-Point. Java T-Point will be good for the online compilers. Go ahead, you can write, and test it there itself, you know. Okay, so with this, having said this, so we'll start. Okay, so first let me tell you, once you downloaded the JDK, you have to set the path. Okay, see suppose if okay, so my screen will be in PPT, right? Okay, I have to stop and I have to share. Okay, okay, so let me share once again. Mm, this PC. Okay, so I think now my screen will be in File Explorer. Am I right? Okay, if you see here in this C, I recently downloaded the JS version, which is 15th, and also the Eclipse. If you see here in the program files, in generally, if you give next, 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 and finish, generally it will go to the program files, this folder. Okay, and if you see inside this, there you can see the Java of around 302 MB, right? So Java, inside this Java, you have a JDK 15.0.1. Okay, inside this JDK, so Java Development Kit, I already told you, JDK is similar to, that is what the Java is actually. Java is nothing but JDK. So JDK is the whole together, the JRE, the JVM, and the other tools like Java C, Java interpreter. So both combined together, everything called as JDK, and JDK is nothing but Java. Okay, so here inside, if you go to the JDK 15.0.1, you will have some, different folders. Suppose if you have downloaded or, some Java JDK 7 or JDK 8, or if you have the older versions, mostly, JDK 7 or JDK 8, you may have some, JRE folder also. Okay, that JRE stands for Java Runtime Environment, as I said earlier. So JRE, it is a it physically exists in the JDK, but JVM, it is not physically exist. It is an abstract one. Okay. If you downloaded a JDK 8 or 7, you can see the JRE folder, this is Java Runtime Environment. But if you have downloaded any, the latest versions, you may not see the JRE folders. So those, because of the, the upgradation, because of the feature, they might have put that folder inside the bin, other some lib folders. Okay. So they have upgraded to the other folders. In the previous folders, in the previous versions and all, we can able to see that JRE. And here, if you see, we have the two basic, this is the bin. This bin folder is the main responsible for, for checking, for understanding what, where the JVM, I mean, where the, JVM looks like. or how to load the class, that class file, or how to execute those. So those things are all come under the bin folders. Okay, so if you see so many, so many system files will be there. I don't want to more dig more. See here in the Java C, all the Java C compilers, Java interpreters, everything will be there in this. Okay, so that's fine. So I don't want to dig more deeper into it. So the basic thing is in the JDK folder, you will have bin folder and as well as the lib folder. In the lib, all the jar files will be there. Okay, whichever is needed for your machine, all the jar files will be there. In if you see in the JDK versions, they have upgraded many things in the JDK latest versions. So yeah, and okay, why we have to set the path in general? Suppose if you see in the CMD, the command prompt, is my command prompt visible? Okay, I think it's not visible. One second. Okay, so in generally you may write the program in anywhere, right? In the C or C drive or D drive, E drive, F drive, whichever drive you are having. So you will write there. But you have to the Java C. Java C is nothing but Java compiler. Java compiler is responsible for compiling the Java file. So you have to let system know that where your Java file is located, right? Suppose if you are, suppose if you are creating inside the bin folder, if you are creating, inside the bin folder, there's some Java file, you don't need to give the setup, you don't need to, do the setup path. Okay, you can directly write the class file here. You can directly, Java C, you can write the code and you can execute the program and you can get it. But suppose if you are creating a class, if you are creating a Java file other than the bin folder somewhere in your, the D drive or E drive, then you have to explicitly tell the system what exactly you have to do. Okay, you have to explicitly tell the system that where your Java file is located. Okay, so for that, what you're going to do, you can have two ways. One is, okay, so let me go to the notepad so that I can tell you clear way. Again, I have to stop and share because switching this is not letting me. Okay, so let me go to the notepad. Here I'll okay, so set path. So two ways. Okay, one is temporary. Temporary you can able to set it, the set path, and permanent one. So how will you do it? So temporarily, how you can do it? You can do like in the command prompt set, you have to write it the command like set path is equal to, you have the JDK, right? In the JDK you just need to copy that bin folder and paste it here. Okay, if you give this, then this path will get set it automatically, and if you try to give this command prompt as Java C, then it will get recognized where you are, wherever you are, wherever you're in the CMD in the different path, even in the different path, that will be recognized. Okay, this is for temporary. Once you restart the system or once you close the CMD, then it will be gone. You have to again, you have to explicitly give the command prompt that this is the path for my Java folder. So you have to give it temporarily. Okay, what is the permanent solution for that? So permanent solution is like um, you have to set in the environment variables. Okay, so how will you do it? So you have to set in the permanent variables. Where exactly how you are going to do? So you have to search it. Based on your OS, it will be differ. Like in the Windows 10, Windows 7, it will be differ. Windows 7, Windows 10, it will be differ. in the Windows 7, if you have, in the computer, if you go to the environment variables, right click, go to the environment variables, you can easily go. Or even if you're here in the Windows 10, you just search it like environment variables. One sec. Yeah, you can just, write it down like environment variables. And here you can see edit the system environment variables inside the control panel. We'll have that. That's the shortcut key. You can go ahead. I think my dialog box is visible. Okay, still it's showing that. Okay, let me, I have to again stop and share. Mm, okay, so I think now it's visible to you, right? System variables. Okay, so here the system properties. You can see here in the advanced tab, you have the environment variables here. Okay, it will be differ in your case, maybe Windows 7 or other OS, but mostly you will have the environment variables in your machine. Just try to find out. You can even Google it. Okay, for that. So just click on the environment variables. In the system variables, you have two variables. One is user variable, another one is system variable. It's not visible. Okay, yeah, it is tedious. I'm gonna have to stop and share. Sorry for this. Mm, in the environment variables, I think, is it visible now? One second.
No, Ashok bhai.
Yeah, okay. Let me. This Microsoft Teams is little bit difficult to manage actually. In the Zoom meetings and all, we can easily do. We can switch it to the other, other windows or other applications easily. But here we don't have that facility, I guess. Maybe I am facing the issue because of a newbie. Okay, so yeah, one second. Is it visible now? Okay, so
Ashok bhai.
yeah,
Yeah.
you have the environment variables. Am I right? So here you have the user variables and system variables. This is very simple. Okay, so don't get it more complex one. So a simple one. You have it two different ways. One is temporary. You can just give set path is equal to the path name, the JDK bin folder path name. Copy that path name and just give it there. It will work temporarily.
Ashok bhai.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Please minimize this floating window of
Which one you are saying?
Microsoft Teams.
Environment.
Yeah, in the left side corner.
Okay, I don't know
Sorry,
how
right
it is
side corner.
visible for you.
Yeah, yeah, that's one.
Yeah, this one, right? You're
Yeah.
saying, okay, fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So yeah, I was talking about this one, right? So yeah, easy. So the first one is you can set up as temporarily by using the set path command, and then final one, the permanent one is you have to go with the environment variables. Just find it where the environment variables are looking at. Just click on that. You will see user variables and system variables, and in the system variables you have the path. Okay, click on this path, double click on this. You will see a lot of already stored path. In the paths you just need to include a new one. Okay, here you have the new edit browse. Just add a new one, and whatever the path you have, you can give it here. Just paste it and say okay, like what I have given here. Okay, C program files, Java JDK 15.0.1 bin. So till bin you have to give, otherwise it will not work. Okay, so this is the basic setup. Okay, this is how you're going to do the setup path variable. Okay, that's it. You have to, once you give the bin folder here, you can say okay, say okay again, and that's it. You are done with this environment variables. And now if you go to the command prompt, and if you try to write, I have to switch it here. So let me stop. And is it okay? Was it visible? Okay. Okay, now I'm in command prompt. Can you able to see now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So in the command prompt, if you just write Java C, it will it will get recognized where your path is exactly, and you can get to know where what is the thing is. Okay. So this actually tells you whether that Java got installed or not correctly, or the path got installed or not correctly. Okay. If you want to check your version, you can check it like Java hyphen hyphen version. You can see the version whatever you have in your machine. Currently for me it is 15, so it is showing 15 for me. Okay, so that's what the two differences, like temporary how will you do it, and permanent how will you do it, and how will you check it once you give the setup path. So once you give the setup path, you just go to the command prompt wherever you want, just write it down. Okay, Java C or Java hyphen hyphen version, just to check whether the Java is recognized or not. So once it is recognized, you can now go ahead for the next one. Okay, I hope everyone clear to this point,
If you have
right?
any issues, you can drop your questions in the chat box,
Yeah,
or we can have a
yeah.
thumbs
Even
up
guys,
or a,
you can even unmute and you can talk.
yeah.
No problem. It will be more fun. I mean, it should be learning should be fun way, right? So we should not hesitate to these things. I'm also one of you, like, right? So just don't think too much about it. If you have so many queries, just don't hesitate. Just let me know. Okay, we'll try to help you out. Okay, so that's fine. So okay, so now let me go to the we'll create one Java file, and we'll start executing it. We'll try to execute that. Okay. Okay. So let me go to the notepad here. I have to stop and then I have to share. Sorry. Okay. Now I am in notepad. I think it is visible to you, right? Okay. So let's understand this. Okay. First program of our Java. Okay. So how will you write a Java program? So first you have to give, class. There are some keywords are there. Okay. In Java, there are some keywords like 50 to 55 keywords are there, and it may differs in, different versions. Okay. But mostly, it has to come between 50 to 55 keywords. So class is one of the keywords in Java. Is it visible, Farzan? The notepad is visible?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, Farzan, fine.
Yeah.
So, okay, so class is actually a keyword, and you have to give the class name. Okay, class name, and you have to give the curly bracket. And here we'll give public static void main string aux. We'll now what is this? What is the exactly these things and all one by one. And then in order to print something in your console, you will give this command system.out.println. You will give whatever you want. Hello world, and you can give something like welcome to Java workshop. Okay, so let me save. So this is a basic, a Java file. So class name, and then main. Main is actually what is main method? Main method is the starting point for the Java program to execution. Okay, for in order to execute the Java file, the JVM, what JVM does, it will directly go to the pointer will directly go to the main method, and from the main method onwards, it will get executed one by one. It won't, okay, so it won't go from the top down approach. Okay, it will be like bottom down approach, bottom to top approach. Okay, so it will go to the main method, and from there onwards you have to write it, whatever the based on the classes or based on the objects you have, it will go keep on tracking. Okay, So this is the starting point for Java program. Okay, so this is the basic program. Now let me save this. And remember, I have given the file name as demo.java, and here the class name is demo. I have given both the demo, the class name, and the file name. Both should be same. Okay. Now suppose, okay, I have saved. Now let me go to that particular path. Desktop. Okay. And let me click it in this one. Okay. So I have to stop my share and then I have to do here. Okay. Now if you see the command prompt, we have written that notepad in the notepad, right? Okay. Now we have to say like Java C. Java C stands for Java compiler. So there are two things. Okay. One is you have to compile the language. First, you will write the Java program. You have to compile it, and then you have to do the interpretation. We'll see these things. First, we'll try to execute this, and then we'll dig more deeper into it. So first, you have to write it like Java C and the file name. What is the file name we have given? Um, 1 second, demo, right? Okay, so we'll give it as demo and then .java. This is the syntax for compilation. Okay, Java C file name .java. And if you say enter, no, we're not getting any errors. So it will, I mean, we're not getting errors, right? So this means that our compilation got successful. Okay, now our compilation got successful. Okay, so now you have to run that file. Okay, how will you run it? You have to write it like Java, and you have to write Java demo file name you have to write. So once you write this, what happens? Whatever we have written in the system.println, those things are showing here, right? Hello world, welcome to Java workshop, right? So this is the two way. One is you have to do the compilation and then you have to do the interpretation. Okay, whatever you have compiled, you have to do the interpretation for that. Okay, now we'll see one amazing thing. Okay, so if I go to the PPT and if we see here, something happens here. Okay, let's understand from this PPT. Okay, so what we did so far, for executing any Java program, you need to install a JDK and you have to set the path. You have to create the Java program and you have to compile and run the Java program. This is the four basic things you have to do, right? This is what we did so far, right? And this is the basic thing we did for checking whether it is executing or not in the command prompt. And in the compilation flow, okay, compiled and what the compilation flow is actually. So in editor in the notepad we did, we have created the Java file, for example, demo.java, and inside that we have written system.println, something we have written, right? And here Java compiler, in the Java compiler, what it does. So once you write Java C, the file name.java, the bytecode will be it will get generated. The bytecode file get generated. What is bytecode? The class which ends with that class file. This will get generated. Suppose if you see, I have to stop and share. Okay. So once if you see here, bytecode will get generated, and then you have to write the Java, that file name, and you'll get the output, right? So this is the basic compilation flow. Now let me see whether our file demo.java got a bytecode or not. Okay, so for that, let me 1 second. Okay, so let me switch to the different applications. I have to stop and I have to do it once again. Okay, now if you go to the desktop and if you see here in the desktop, here in the demo.java I had, okay, in the demo.java I had this file. So once I compile Java C demo.java, Once I did that now, so this demo.class file got generated. So this class file is actually a bytecode. That's why, and this class file you can run it anywhere, wherever you are comfortable with Ubuntu, Linux, or Mac OS, or whichever OS or whichever platform you are, they can run it easily. So this is what the intermediate file, and you can run it easily. This is demo.class. Okay, so the next thing, so this is the flow, and let me again go to this. Okay, so quickly we have to do it because already 12:30 and still lot more to cover. So yeah, okay, let me share it again. Okay, so we have seen about Java program compilation flows, how the compilation got executed, what is the compilation flows and all. So then the next one is data types. So the next thing is we'll see about data types in Java. Okay, so what is data types in Java? And okay, before we jump into the data types in Java, I'll also introduce into the Eclipse environment. Okay, so consider okay, once once you open that Eclipse, it will ask the for the workspace. Workspace is nothing but whichever folder you want to create. Okay, just select one folder and you will be added into this page. Okay, I have to again switch it here. Okay, that's fine. So I'll just go with this, data types. Then when I go with the example, I'll go for Eclipse IDE. Okay, so data types in Java. What is data type? Okay, so data type is specify the different sizes and values that can be stored in a variable. Okay, so we have a different types, right? In general, for example, you have a number and you have, floating point number, like, you have a decimal value and you have some characters, you have some strings, so these are the different characters. Array you have strings. So there are different, these are the different versions of different types of data types. Okay, so if you see, there are mainly two types of data types. Okay, one is primitive data type, another one is non-primitive data type. What is primitive? Primitive is something like, which we don't have any methods, or which we don't have. It is already defined in the Java. Okay, this is the basic data type you have. What are those? There are totally 8 primitive data types. What are those? Boolean, character, byte, short, int, long, float, and double. So these are the 8 primitive data types. And what is non-primitive data type? Non-primitive data types includes classes, interfaces, arrays, etc. So these are all comes under the non-primitive. If you see here, see in the primitive, either you have the Boolean value or you will have the numeric value, right? So in the Boolean value, what is Boolean? Boolean is something like the value will be either true or false. Either like it will be true or it will be false. Okay, we don't have any other options. Okay, so for that we have to go with the boolean data type. And for other data types, like, okay, we have in the numbers, we have a different numbers, right? For example, if you have a short number, for example 64, that is small enough, so we can give it in the byte itself. Suppose if it is little bit longer, like for example, some 600 or something, then we can go for the short. Okay, some bigger values, like we can go for the int, and some more bigger values, then we can go for the long. We'll see the the ranges and all in the different slides. So as of now, this is a thing. Okay, integer. And in the things like floating point, for the floating point we have two values, two data types. One is float, another one is double. So what is the difference between these two? Float and double. In the float it is a 4 byte, and double it's 8 byte, which means suppose if you want to just put it in a small decimal value like 3.14 or 3 point some some digits like 4 or 5 decimals, we can go ahead with the float. Okay, suppose if you want a exact value, okay, for scientific calculations or something like that. For example, you want to know the pi value. 3.14 is the approximate value, right? that is a rounded off value. 3.14 is a rounded off value. That is, we can go with the float. Suppose if you want to exact, exact value, then you can go with that double. Okay, so that's what the difference it makes. Okay, so let us see what are the different ranges for that, one by one. Primitive data type. A primitive data type specifies the size and types of variable values, and it has no additional methods. It has no additional method. Okay, once you have given int a is equal to 5, that's it. You can't, go, you don't have any methods for that data type and all. Okay, so we'll dig more deeper once we go deeper into it. You'll come to know what are those things. So okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So there are totally 8 data types. One is byte, short, int, long, float, double, boolean, and as well as char. So if you see, if you want to store only the values ranges between -128 to 127, then the byte data type is enough. Okay, then it will occupy the 1 byte memory itself. 1 byte of memory. What is 1 byte of memory? 1 byte is equal to 8 bits, right? So 8 bits. So it will occupy less memory for this. If you want to store only these range of values, it is enough. Byte is enough. If you want to store the range of values minus 32,000 to 32,000 plus, then you can go for the short data type, and the range of byte size is 2 bytes, which is 16 bits. So similarly, in data type, so int is more than enough. So many digits: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So there are totally 10 digits are there. Okay, so that is more than enough for for the real-time applications. So that is why int is majorly used in the Java applications, because mostly whatever we are dealing with applications mostly comes under the 10 digits. So int is mainly used. And suppose if in case if it is going beyond the 10 digits, then we can go for the long, which is 8 bytes. And similarly for the float is 4 bytes. So store fractional numbers sufficient for storing 6 to 7 decimal digits. And for the double, 8 bytes. Okay, so suppose if you want to give the exact decimal digits 15 to more than that even, then you can go for the double data type. And similarly boolean and character. Okay, so the next one, non-primitive data type. What is non-primitive? Non-primitive data type are called reference types because they refer to objects. For example, like string and array are those things. Otherwise like interfaces. So those are all comes under the non-primitive data type. We'll see this more about when the slides about that chapter comes. Okay, so let's see one small exercise for that. So let me stop this and go for the Eclipse. I'll share my Eclipse ID. Okay. Okay, so once you install the Eclipse and go for this, so you'll land into this page. Then you can go for file, new, and then you can create Java project. Okay, wow. So Java project. So you can give anything. For example, Java. I'll give like Java workshop. Okay, Java workshop day 1 something. Okay, I'll specify some project name here. Okay, here you can see which JR you want to use. I'm using the 14th one or 15th one, whichever you want. You can use it, or you can say next and then just say next and then say finish. Okay, so it will ask you, suppose if you have downloaded the latest Eclipse, then only it will ask you the module info, whether you want a modular programming or not. It is some more advanced concept. I don't want to go with that modular programming and all. So as of now, just don't create it. Suppose if you have installed the latest version of Eclipse, it will ask you for about the module info. Otherwise, suppose if you have downloaded the old version like Eclipse Neon or Eclipse Mars or Oxygen, it won't ask you. Okay, so as of now, we have created the project Java Workshop Day 1, and inside this, if you see here, you have the source. Just right click it, new Java file you have to give. Okay, So just click new and you have to file a class. Here you have to specify which class you want to use. So what do you want to use for this file? For example, I want to test the data type demo. I want to demo the data type example. Okay, it will ask you which method steps you do really like to create, which one you want. So white main you want this main method or not. So I'll say like when you're creating the this one, so create the main method also. I'll say finish. Okay, so it will automatically give this one public class data type and static void main string aux and all. Okay, now you can remove this comment, no need. Okay. Okay, in the main method, let's see one by one. We have the int data type. I'll say like int a is equal to something like 12. Okay, now I want to use the float value. Okay, so float value I want to use. Then I have to use. So first the syntax is like you have to give the data type, the variable name, and the what is the value for that variable name. Okay, so float you have to give float something b is equal to some value you have to give. Okay, 1.4. For float you have to give like f. Okay, and then if you want to use the double value you can use it like double d is equal to double c is equal to, we'll go order by like this. Okay, something like 1.2 something something. Okay, in generally it will go for double. Okay, if you for the float value you have to specify f here. Okay, for that in the value, otherwise it will consider as a double value. Okay, so then other than that what else we have? So long, suppose if we have a long variable you can write it, for example long d is equal to some value. Okay, some long value. Once you give this, suppose if you see here what it says, the literal of type int is out of range. See, it will consider as int, but in order to make it as long you have to put l at the end of it. Okay, and then you have to give the semicolon once you enter this. So this is the basic one. And suppose for the boolean, how will you do boolean? Some e or flag. So mostly for the boolean we'll use the variable name as flag. So I'll give the value as flag here itself. So here you have to mention either true or false. Okay, these are true and false also a keyword in Java. Okay, true means one and false means 0. So you can you have given all these things. Now you can print it. Suppose in the Eclipse, if you give S capital Y S O, and if you give control and space both, okay, click on that, and then you can easily get it for printing this statement. Okay, so you can print the statement like a whichever you want. Like for example, you can copy it and you can paste it for the other values as well. As of now, I'm printing, for example, for okay, let me print all the values. Okay, so paste it, and here I have to put flag. Okay, whatever we have given here, the same thing we are printing it. Now let's see how it works. Okay, so once you give this, what we have to do, we have to just go to this Java file, right click it, and then run as Java application. Once you run this, all the values whatever you are given in the variables, those will be printed in the console. In the console thing, it will be printed. Okay, so this is a basic thing about Java, Java data type. Okay, now we'll see about typecasting also in this. So we'll see what is typecasting, and then we'll come to this. Okay, so let me stop this and then reshare to the PPT screen. And here if you see, Java typecasting will be there. So typecasting is when you assign a value of one primitive data type to another. Suppose if you want to you want to assign a variable of float to double or double to float, then it is called as casting. You are changing the data type of it, right? So that's where the type casting comes into picture. So there are totally two ways. One is widening casting and another narrowing casting. See, widening casting, this is done automatically, okay, by the JVM, by the Java automatically does it. And for this normal narrowing cast, you have to specify, okay, you have to specify what exactly you have to do. Suppose, okay, this is a general overview. Suppose converting a smaller type to a longer type, you have a byte to short, you can easily do it, okay. So this is the widening cast. And for the narrowing cast, you have to you have to specify it manually. Explicitly you have to do. This is done by implicitly, and this is explicitly you have to do, okay. So let's see one example what I'm trying to say about that. Let's see an example, okay. So let me stop and reshare in the Eclipse screen. So okay, let's understand this, okay. So int a is equal to 12, or okay. Okay, now I'm giving like int something like d is done, right? Okay, int e is equal to, or I'll give x some variable name. Int x is equal to, what I have to do, I'm trying to okay, let me give the long here, okay, so that it will be easy for you. Suppose if you want to convert, see if you see here int a is equal to 12. A variable is of type integer. Now if you want to convert this integer type to a long, then you can easily convert. This is done by explicitly, I mean implicitly by the JVM. Okay, you can easily convert, and I'm not initializing the value for x. So it will take the value of a and it will assign it to the x value. Suppose if you are printing that value x value, then let's see what it does. If you save it, and even see, you can do the run the Java application here, or even if you can see here there is a play button, you can click here also, okay. If you click it here, see, after the flag, what is printing? X. The 12 is printing. So I'm not mentioning long x is equal to 12. I'm just mentioning long x is equal to a, and a is the type of integer. So how it is converting integer to long? That is what the implicit type casting. Okay, this is JVM does automatically, and it is easier to do. There are two rules for this. One is so integer is how many bytes? One integer, and integer is 4 bytes and long is 8 bytes. You can easily occupy the 4 bytes to long 8 bytes, right? It is very easy. So that's why JVM does automatically. Suppose now consider I am giving int, okay, int a is equal to something. For example, if I have okay, maybe okay, int a is equal to d I'm giving, okay. Now see what's happening now. Now what I want to do, I want to create, okay, now I'll give here y, okay, int y is equal to d. What's happening here? There is a error. If you see here, type mismatch cannot convert from long to int. See, d is actually a, what is d? Long type. It is a lot of values are there, but integer can't occupy those many values. So what we have to do, you have to explicitly say, you have to cast it. See, you have to explicitly cast it. You have to say, I this is the I know this is the data type of long type, but I want to convert this to integer. So I want to typecast it integer like this. Okay, now if you see, save it and then try to execute it, then whatever the value is there. Okay, I have to print the value. Sorry. Okay, I have to print the value y. Okay, now whatever is there in that, so that will be visible. Okay, so suppose if the value is going beyond that integer, see this can't occupy right now. See, it is going beyond the data type of int. So that's why it is showing in the minus value, not showing the exact value. Suppose I'm considering, I'm giving within the 10 digit and try to save and, run that. Then whatever I'm giving, the same in the long type, the same values will be displayed in the int type as well. So that's the, data type and, brief description about the data type and the typecasting. And one more thing is, why we have to go with the IDE. See, suppose if you do some silly mistakes, like you have to the IDE itself tell you that you have to this is a compile time error, you have to do it, or you have to typecast it. Suppose if I forgot to typecast this, and then the compiler will automatically tell you. Suppose if you just hover that in the D, I mean the IDE itself, the Eclipse IDE itself tell you what you can do for that error. You can add cast to int, change type of int y to long. These are the different solutions for that, quick fixes, right? Now if you want to add cast to int, you just need to click it, automatically that will be casted. You don't need to specify it. So that's the main advantages of IDE. It will whatever is the compile time errors, whatever you are writing the wrong code, then the compiler will throw the exception and tell you this is the error, you have to solve that error, and then you have to execute that error, you have to execute the file. That is the main advantage of IDE. Suppose if you go with the notepad now, so nothing will be nothing will be shown in the notepad. It is just a text file, right? Text editor. Whatever you write, it is up to you. You have to correct the mistake. So that's why IDE is more beneficial. I hope everyone got this data type and data type typecasting. Any queries till now?
If anyone have any queries, you can unmute yourself and you can speak, or else you can drop your question into the chat box.
Yeah, sure. Okay. I hope no one has any queries. Okay. So next, let me go to the variables. Okay. So Java variables, we have seen, right? Java variables. A variable is a container which holds a value while the Java program is executed. A variable assigned with a data type. So syntax is data type. We have to give variable name and we have to give the value. For example, we did like int a is equal to 38 or something. So here int is a data type, a is the variable name, and 38 is the value for that variable. Okay. So what are the different types of variables? There are three types of variables in Java. One is local variable, instance variable, and static variable. So what are those? What are those local variables, instance variable, and static variables? We'll see now. See, local variable is something if you give inside the body of the method. Okay, inside the body of the method, if you give, it is local variable, and you can't access outside of the method. That is what the local variable actually means. Instance variable is something like if you are declaring a variable inside the class but outside the method, outside the body of the method, is called instance variable. And static variable is something, the variable which is declared as static is called static variable. It cannot be local. So what is this means, and we'll see in one example. Okay. Okay, so fine. So let me go to the Eclipse again. Please guys, let me know if you have any if you have any questions or clarifications, so that we can do it the time itself. Okay, so now let me go to the Eclipse. Now we'll we'll okay, this is data type is over. Now we'll see about variables. Okay, so let me create a new class file once again. So right click, new class. Okay, so what is the class name? So what we're going to demo now? Variable data types, right? Types of variables. Okay, so now we'll give like a variable demo. Variable demo for variables, or variable demo, whatever you feel like. You can give some class name. Okay, over there. Again, you can give the main as check it, and then just finish it. Here demo for variable. Okay. Okay. So what I said, there are three types of variables. One is local, another one is instance variable, another one is static variable, right? Okay. Let's see one by one. See, suppose if you are giving a method, for example, int a is equal to 5. Okay. Int a is equal to 5 you have given, and then you are giving static int b is equal to c. Okay. And then if you are giving a inside the method, right? And here inside the method you are giving one variable int something c is equal to, sorry, here I have made wrong, maybe I can give some values, and int c is equal to uh, int c is equal to, I'll give some value. Okay. So now consider. Okay. So what is local variable now? Local variable is something which you declare inside the method. Okay. So int c is equal to 8 I have given. Okay. Now suppose, so what is local variable? Local variable I told like it should be inside the method. You can't access this C outside the method. Okay. You can't print this method variable outside the method. That is what the local variable. Sorry. So this is local variable. Okay. And then what is instance variable? An instance variable is something which is declared inside the class but outside the method. So here int a is equal to 5. So inside the class but outside the method, and int a is equal to 5 is instance variable. And what is this? Static int b is equal to 7. So whichever variable is, if you specify a keyword, static, that is called a static variable. Simple. Static variable. Okay. So if you save it now, why I said local variable I can't able to access outside the method. Suppose if you want to print outside, sorry. See, even if you give outside, it won't write it actually. See, so here if you give here it will come. Okay, but outside of the method it will not come. So simply, so suppose if the local variable I can't able to access outside the method, but we can able to access all the instance variable, static variable, or whatever the value of local variable we can access inside the main method. For example, like if you want to print a, and if you want to, I'll give like this. Okay, instead of giving different lines, I'll give it in a single line and I'll print it. Okay. Okay. So I'm just printing it. So here, what is the thing? A to static. And one more thing, I forgot to say one thing here. An static variable. Okay. So in the static method, if you are in the static method, you can't able to access the non-static variables. So this is a static variable. You can able to use it. B, B you can print it. Okay, because it is static. And C also you can print it. It's not an issue because it is in static method. So you can, whatever the static method, you can print it. But suppose if the variable situated outside the method and the two it is not a static method, then you can't able to print it. You will get a compile time error. Okay, so change a to static. You can't print it here. Okay, so that's the problem. So just remove this. You can print it both B and C. If you just try to run that program, then you can see that value, B value 7 and C value as 8 in the one line. So I think you got this right, this point. Static variable you can't access in the static method, but you can use it in other methods also. That we will see in the tomorrow session. How will you going to create a methods? How will you going to create a class? What is the object concept? Everything we'll see tomorrow. I just wanted to show you what is data type and what is the basic necessity of it. So I think that's it about this. Then let me switch it. No, I have given the wrong one. Okay, so that's what the about types of variables. And suppose if you want to see the operators, we'll see about the operators in Java, and then we'll quickly see about the if, control statements. Okay, so what are the operators in Java? Operators in Java is a symbol which is used to perform operations. Simple, right? So in order to do some operation, in order to do certain operations to the data type, we'll go for the operators in Java. One second. Okay, sorry. So operators in Java. So there are many types of operators in Java. Okay, like for example, unary operator, arithmetic operator, shift operator, relational operator, bitwise operator, logical operator, ternary operator, and assignment operator. So mostly, in our application, we're going to use the unary operator, arithmetic operator, relational operator, and then ternary is very rare, assignment operator. So just 4 or 5 operators we are going to use more often. Okay, assignment operator is obviously, even if you are giving int a is equal to 5, that equal to is there, right? That is what the assignment operator is. Okay. Okay, so let me see here. I think it is visible. So Java operator precedence. See, if you see here in the unary operator, you can see like this. This is a precedence. Precedence is something like what is the order? Suppose if we have, these three operators, which will going to execute first. So this is the multiplication, division, or division or modulo. So this will execute first, and this is the precedence in the sense priority. Okay, so these are the different categories of it, and these are the values. These are the operators. Okay, symbols. Okay, for unary operator we use a plus plus or I minus minus expression, something like that. And for shifting operator and all we use for the bitwise, operator. Suppose if you have binary values like 110011, you want to shift the ones or zeros to other places, you can use the bitwise operators or shift operators. Okay, so yeah, so we'll see one by one. Okay, we'll see one example, and we'll get one idea. Okay, what is exactly what. Let me go to the Eclipse again. Okay, first I have to stop it. Sorry. Okay, rerun to the reshare to the Eclipse. Okay, so now we'll see about what operators, right? We'll see about the operators. Now create new class. I'll give like operator, operators demo for operators. I'll give something like that. Okay, so this is a demo for operator. Okay, now main method I have given, I'll say finish. Okay, let's see one by one. Okay, we may not going to cover all the operators. I'll give a brief, whichever is most important operators. I'll just quickly walk through that. So let's give some values like int a is equal to 13. Okay, int b is equal to some again 15. Okay, something. I have given int value and b value, a value and b value. Now I want for example, I want to do the sum. Okay, how will you do it? Consider I'm printing it. I want to do the sum. Okay, let me go into the double quotes. Okay, I have to give it in the double quotes, and then I have to use the concatenate operator plus, and you have to say what exactly you have to do. You have given a is equal to 13, b is equal to 15. Now what you have to do? Now you want to do the sum, right? So you have to do like a plus b, right? Simple now. So for sum you have to do a plus b. So similarly for the other data types, okay? For the other data types operators, like for example, you want to see the differences, can use a minus b or b minus a, whatever you want. Okay, so multiplication division, I don't want to write it everything. I don't want to waste the time. So this is a basic thing. So a plus b, a minus b, so similarly you can go for the multiplication division. I want to show you one more thing here. 1 second. Okay, if you print one more thing, modulo, right? What is modulo? Modulo is nothing but it will give you the division value. For example, to be easy for our understanding, I'll give it the b value as 10, and here I'll give it as j. Modulo is nothing but we'll do the operator as percentage, and then I have to use b. Okay. Okay, let's run this small program. Okay, see, if you see here, a value is 13, b value is 10. What is the sum value? Obviously 13 plus 10, 23. And a minus b, 13 minus 10, difference as value is difference. So 3. And modulo, what is modulo here? 3. How it is coming? It is not a difference. So it is nothing but the remainder. If you divide this a value with b value, see, division actually prints. Suppose if you printing the division value, I hope you know these basic things, but still I'm telling you. Somebody, if you don't know, maybe they can get it. Okay. So a divided by b. Suppose if you give a divided by b, obviously what will happen? 13 divided by 10, obviously the value is 1, right? The division value. If you run it, which one you want to run? So demo for operator I want to run. So division is 1. So 13 divided by 10 is obviously 1. So that is division is 1. But what is the remainder? So 13 divided by 10 is 10. So the remainder is 3, right? That is what the modulo. Modulo is nothing but the remainder of the division is the modulo. Okay, that is what the modulo is called about. Okay, so this is the basic arithmetic operators, and we'll see about conditional operators. Okay, what is conditional operator? Suppose, okay, now consider you want to give like int c or c something. Okay, int c is equal to a. Okay, okay, consider suppose if the value a is greater than 3, then the value should be what? Then the value should be 12. Otherwise, whatever the a value is there, just put it there. I think 1 second. If the a value is greater than 3, okay, if it is true, what, see, conditional operator is something like you have to specify with question mark and colon. In the question mark, after the question mark, you have to give the true value. Suppose if it is condition is true, what will happen? And after the semicolon, after the colon, you have to specify else part. I mean, like, what, suppose if the conditional false, then what? Suppose if the, see here, the condition we have given as a is greater than 3. So here a is greater than 3, true or false? It is true, right? So what will happen? Now the c value will get print. Now just let me remove this and let me print the value of c. Now what will be the value of c? Here the condition is true. So true means it will go to the first one. So 12. So 12 will be get assigned to C. So that's what you're going to print the C. Suppose if it is false, then A value will be whatever the A value is coming from this value, that is the same thing. The same will be assigned to it. So suppose if you just check the value what it does. So C value, what is C value? 12. Here A greater than A value is 13, so 13 is greater than 3. So obviously the condition is false. Say true. So that's why it's go to the 12 and the C value is printing as 12. I hope you got this conditional operator. So similarly, we have the logical operator. Logical operator is something like, this is, we'll have, in the backspace, if you see in the keyboard, from, the down key of backspace, mostly, that will be in the like this. Okay, this one and operator. So this, so both you have to use. This is logical OR and this is logical AND. What is logical OR? What is logical AND? See, we'll see. Okay, now consider I am giving the value int C is equal to something like some 18 or something. Okay, and here I'm C. If I'm giving both, here also C have given. I have also have give here also have given C. So it will show you duplicate local variable. You have to rename it. So you can rename to some other. Okay. Now, okay. Now we'll have to see about the logical operator, right? So, okay. First we'll see about logical operator. Okay. Okay. I have to go with if else statement also. Maybe. Okay, I think it is better if we go to the control statements and then go for the logical operators. That will be easy for us. Okay, so let me stop this and reshare the PPT screen. Okay, so we'll see about these logical operators in the in the upcoming slides. I mean the upcoming examples. Okay, before this, I'll want to show the control statements in Java. Okay, so if you cover this, then it will get covered that also. So that's why. So control statements in Java. What is control statements? Can you please read that slide? Okay, so control statements in Java, an instruction given to the computer to perform specific operations. Okay, statement. What is statement? Statement is, see, whatever in the Eclipse, we have written the code. Each line is actually called as a statement. We are giving the semicolon, right? Why we are giving a semicolon? In order to end the statement. That is a one instruction. So each instruction is called as statement. Okay, what is control statement? A control statement is a Java is a statement that determines whether the other statements will be executed or not. So based on the based on the logic written in the statement control statements, the JVM or the Java knows whether I have to execute the let line or not. That is what the control statements is all about. Okay, so we have a different control statements, like for example conditional statements, iteration statements, jump statements. We'll see each one, we'll see one by one. So what is conditional statements? Conditional statements is nothing but if else, nested if, switch case. Okay, so these are the conditional statements. Okay, wow. And then iteration statements, while, do while, for loop. These are the iteration statements. And what is jump statements? Break, continue. It will it will directly jump to the other statements. That's why we call it jump statements. Why we are saying iteration statement as iteration statement? Because we have to iterate it. Suppose if you have an array of values and you want to print the values, okay, you have the array of you have a set of fruits in you, okay, in your one variable. Okay, fruit variable. Maybe we'll see more about it in the array statement, array array or array list in the collections and all. We'll see about those things. But as of now, why it is called as iteration statement? We have a set of values. I want to see each value I have to iterate it one by one, so that then you can go for the iteration statement. And what is conditional statement? Conditional statement is something like, suppose if the condition is matching, then you go for these statements. you go for these instructions. If it is not matching, then don't go for that statements. That's where the conditional statements comes into picture. And yeah, we'll see one by one. Okay, see the simple if. Okay, the simple if determines whether the code should be executed based on the specific condition. So suppose you will give some condition. If it is true, then the statement one will get executed. If you see the syntax, you'll give the condition here, right? Suppose if it is a is greater than 5, it is true or not. If it is true, then execute a statement one. Otherwise, just leave it. Don't execute that statement at all. That's what the if statement says. Okay, if you see the diagram, maybe it is more easy for you. So this is called as flow chart. Okay, a developer, in order to come up with some solution, okay, he'll go for algorithm. Okay, what is algorithm? Algorithm is something like a set of step by step they'll give the instructions. Okay, you have to go over this, you have to go for that. So they'll give step by step instructions, okay, to the computer systems. That is what algorithm. So a human being come up with some algorithm to solve that problem. For example, if I want to calculate the sum, first I have to do? First, get the value of A, get the value of B, do the operation by using the operator, arithmetic operator. So sum is equal to A plus B. Process it and assign it to the sum variable, and then print the value of sum. So this is the whole picture is called as algorithm. Okay. So flowchart is something like how it does. It gives a clear picture what goes inside it. For example, like if you see here in the condition decision, we say like decision making, that name. Okay, so condition you'll give. Suppose if it is true, then the if code get executed. If it is false, then don't execute at all. They'll directly go to the after if statement. That's what it says, right? In the flow diagram. Okay, so we'll see about the examples. I hope this is very simple. Hope everyone understands this. So we'll see the examples also, but let me complete some of the statements and then we'll go for the examples. If else statement. See, what is the difference between the if statement and if else statement? In the if statement, you will say like if it is true, execute that statement. Statement one will get executed. Otherwise, the statement to normal flow will goes on. Okay, but what if else statement in the sense, see here if else statement, if the condition matches the statement executed, otherwise the else statement executed. Sorry. So if the condition is true, then the code for true will get executed. Otherwise the this get executed. Okay, wow. So this is the two conditions. So that's what the major difference between the if statement and if else statement. Okay, so the next one, if else if ladder. So we can give so many else if it is this condition, then true this. If it is no, then use this. If it is this and this, then use this. So we'll give set of if else if ladder. For example, to be to give orally the example. For example, the marks. Okay, if the marks is less than okay, suppose if the marks is greater than 95 or 90, then I'll give like distinction, past distinction. Okay, and else if I'll give the statements like if the marks is ranges between 80 to 90, then go for this. Distinction is something okay, good. Here best, here very good. Then maybe here I can give like something like 60 to 70 or something. Then I can give some range like I'll give I can say like good. And then in the else, finally if the marks is less than 50 or less than 35, we'll say like no, the marks is less than low, so you have failed. You have to come up, you have to do the improvement. So that's what if else if ladder is all about. And nested if, you can even print the if statement inside the if statement. Okay, Suppose if the A is greater than 90, and here it comes inside that, and and suppose if the the condition is here, you can give specifically like the condition, if A value is equal to 95, then this statement will get executed. 90 it will come inside, but if specifically, your network is causing poor quality, try switching. Yeah, now I think it is okay. Now we can able to hear, right, Farzan?
Yeah, we can hear now.
Okay,
If
is the
you,
screen is
yeah,
shared or not?
yeah, the screen is shared.
Is shared, okay.
Is it feasible for everyone now?
Is it visible, guys? Please let me know if you are finding some some difficulty. Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, so we will go ahead. So what we were talking about? Okay, so we were talking about the nested if statement. I just gave an oral example. Okay, like for example, if the condition, if the A value is greater than, if the A value is greater than 90, then if statement, this statement get executed. And here again we have another nested if. Nested if is nothing but if you are giving if statement inside the if statement, that is called nested if statement. And the example is like here the A is greater than 90, then this statement will get executed. And here you are specifying something like if A is equal to 95. Okay, specifically you are mentioning the value. If it is 95, then this statement will get executed. Am I right? So therefore there we can have nested if statement also. So that's what about the nested if statement. So we'll see about this concept, okay, in the example. Let me stop and reshare to the Eclipse. I hope everyone is getting my point, or please let me know if I'm exaggerating or you're facing any difficulties. Okay, so let me give the new class. We'll say like control statements. Uh, Maybe we'll yeah, okay, control statements. Okay, we'll give control statement self. Okay, some name. Okay, so okay, so we'll try to understand quickly what is if else if and other values. Okay, consider I'll give marks is equal to something. I'll give 89. Okay, wow, I'll give 89. Okay, now you want to check whether the marks, if the marks is greater than 80, then you are going to print. Very good. Okay, something here. Okay, so very good. Suppose if else if marks is greater than, see, if it is greater than, it will get always goes here. So you have to give the lesser value than 80. So maybe I can give the range like 80. Okay, so for example, not 80, I'll give as 70. Okay. Okay. So else if 70, and then here I'll give it as, you know, good, or even I can give 60 for this. I'll give it good, and another one is else if. So if I give here, if I give the marks as is greater than, you know, something like 40. Okay, uh, could be better. Maybe we'll give like that. Need improvement or could be better or something. You can do it. Improvement. Okay. Or finally, if it is not at all, I will give a passing mark as, okay, we'll give the standard mark 35. Okay. Otherwise, if the value is 35 lesser or 35 itself, then this guy is fine. That's it. Can't do anything. He has to improve. Failed. Okay. That's it. Better, better to give failed, we'll say like improvement needed. We don't want to hear the failures, right? Okay, so this is what the if else if ladder. If it is this, then this. If it is not, then this. If it is not else if it is not and or else like this, then this should be the statement should be like this. Or if it is something like that, then you have to print this. So we are specifying the conditions. Okay, so that's what. Now for example, if now we can run this. See, now my marks is 89. Okay, so well done, good. So that is, so printing is very good. So that's why it is printing very good. Suppose if I change it to, I'm getting 9 marks. Sadly, I shouldn't. So 8 marks, 9 marks I got, and I try to run it. Then improvement needed. So this got printed here. Okay. Okay. So this is the basic idea about control statements, if else if concepts. Okay, so here I want to specify one more thing, which is conditional operator. I mean logical operator. Okay, so for example, okay, now you want to specify exactly. Okay, so here I have given 60 above. Okay, so 35 above or 60 above. You are mentioning, right? So maybe see, suppose if I mention like logical and marks should be less than how much? 80. Okay, if it is in this range, the marks, if it is in this range 60 to 80, then I'll specify good. So the purpose of using this is I am using the logical operator here. Logical and is something which both has to be executed. Okay, so the marks 60 and as well as both the conditions. So this condition and as well as this condition. So both the conditions should execute. Then only the statement will get executed. Otherwise, it will not work. For example, if you want to specify is correctly, for example, I'll give 70. Okay, now see, okay, I'll give it like something marks should be greater than 60 and marks should be less than 70. Now consider I'm giving 69. What it will print? It will print good, because 69 is in the range of 60 to 70, and that is what we have given in the logical and. It is true, and also this is also true. That's why we have given as good. Now consider I am giving something like, okay, 79. Okay, now what will it print? Can you guys guess it? Could be better. Why? Because I am giving, so see 80 above. If it is 80 above, very good. Here the marks is 79. It is neither passing this See here, 60 above it is passing, true, condition is true, correct? But here if you see marks is less than 70, it should be less than 70, but my marks is 79. So here it is failing, so hence it is going to this else if. Here the marks is 35. Obviously the marks is 79, which is greater than 35. So obviously it is passing and it is printing the could be better. Okay, so with this I want to show you one more thing here. Did I make mistake anything? One second. Yeah. Yeah, one more thing I wanted to tell you. Okay, you can even use the debugging point. Okay, now consider I want to give the debugging point here. What is debugging point and all? I'll come. Okay, I'll come here and then I see this dot. You can see, you can able to see, I guess so. Just double click on this in this line. Okay, in this line number is there, right? So left side of it you have this thing breakpoint column. You can just put the double points whichever you wherever you want. Okay, now what exactly you have to do? So once it is done, this is the file is controller statements. Just right click it. Okay, first of all I'll tell you, see, if you generally run this application, it will directly execute and give it the output. Okay, like it could be better, very good, good, whatever this thing is there, it will directly print it. But if you want to check whether my code is where I'm doing wrong, what is the step by step instructions, what is going inside the Java program, then we can go for the debugging point. Okay, mostly it is for debugging, in the sense we have some bugs, you know we can't able to see it easily. We have some bugs, we need to put it the breakpoint, and we need to run that file in the debugging mode, we can say. Okay, and right click it. And generally if you want to run, you're running by run as Java application. If you run, it will directly normally run. Okay, but if you are running debug as Java application, then the application will be debugged. Okay, wow. You have to put it the debug point and then you have to put the debug as Java application. Now if you do debug application, this will it will prompt you, it will give the pop-up, it will show you, it will tell you this kind of launch is configured to open the debug perspective when it suspends. In generally we'll have Java perspective. For debug perspective, for debugging stuff, we need a different perspective in something, but the the Eclipse order gets changes, the the look like the UI will get changed. Okay, now for example debug perspective. Okay, now I am switching it. Now switch it. See, if you see the UI will get changed here. The variable breakpoints and all, it's coming, right? You need to please just carefully listen to this. It will be helpful for you. See, I have given the breakpoint here, and I have made it to run as debug as Java applications, right? Now if you see marks, if you just hover it marks, what is happening? Marks is 79, so the value is printing here, right? Okay, and even if you have in the right side, you have all the variables, whatever the variables you are having. So all the variables will be listed down here, and whatever the breakpoints you have given, all those breakpoints will be there. So we'll go one by one. Okay. Okay. So now consider I have given the marks. Okay. Now whether it will check whether it is greater than 80 or not. If it is 80 greater than 80, it will go inside this. Okay, I'll give the breakpoint inside this also. Okay, so that you will get to know whether which statement is going inside and what is happening inside. Okay, so suppose I have given the marks as 79 and I'm in the breakpoint. So this is the active point. Okay, now the point is 79. So 80, 79 is greater than 80. True or false? False. So this statement will not get executed. That is what the control statement is, right? So if you now once you've done this, you can here you have a play button. If you see my screen in the in the menu bar, below to the menu bar, we have the play button. It says resume, or even you can use a shortcut key F8, function 8 key. Okay. Now play button, use the play button. Now what happened? It will directly, it will directly go to the that out. Okay. Now it will check it whether that thing got executed or not. So here these things not got executed. It will directly come to this point. Okay. See, now the marks is greater than 35. So this got executed and then it is printing here. That's how. So the point is where we can see where exactly is what exactly is happening, and where my current point is, and in this particular thing, what is my current variable value. So those things and all we can able to see. Okay, wow. So that's where the debugging comes into picture. Maybe so this may not be useful as of now, but maybe tomorrow, when we are working in the object-oriented programming, we may use these things. Okay. So that's it about this. So you can stop it if you want, or even you can play it, or once you play, it will just give the values. And then here, if you see in the right side, debug mode and Java perspective mode. Sorry, I was in mute. Sorry. So Java debug mode. So you can change the perspective to Java perspective mode. So you can click it here. Again, you are in the same perspective mode. Okay. So that's what these things is all about. Okay. So that's what about the conditional statements. We'll see about looping statement and switch statement, and we'll finish it off. Okay. I know you guys may get bored. Okay. So okay, so I'll create a new class. Here I'll say it like loop statements, and I'll say like main functions. And before going to this, I have to go for the slide, right? Let me stop this and reshare to the PPT. Okay, so we have seen all these things, right? Okay, so switch statement is something like if it is this case, see in the switch statement is something like you will give the cases. Okay, the syntax, if you see the observe the syntax expressions you have, you'll give the expression, you'll give some string as something. Okay, suppose if it is passed, then this case value. Okay, if it is not, then this case value, or if it is not, then default value. Okay, so these are the different switch statements. So we'll see the example. Maybe in the example you will get a clear idea. Okay. Even in the data flow diagram, you can see like if the expression, if the case is passed, directly go to the statement one and break the point and directly come to the default one. It is similar to the if else if. See, we have the if else if ladder. In the if else if ladder, what happens? Each condition will get passed. Check it, right? So for example, if I see the what to say, if else if ladder, it will check if this condition is true, directly print it. If it is false, then it will check the condition this one. If it is false, then it will check the condition this one, and it will go and go on and go on. That is what the if else if ladder. But in the switch statement, what it does, so the direct case, okay, directly you will give the case. It won't go for the each executions. Directly it will go to the case and directly execute the statement. If you observe it keenly in the switch statements, if the case is correct, if the case is one, so directly to execute the statement one and then just come out of it. It won't check else if ladders and all. So that's what about this switch statement. Maybe we'll see the example so that you will get a clear picture, and then we'll see about the looping statements. Okay, we'll quickly finish it off. Okay, so for loop. Okay, so there are three loops. Okay, one is for loop, another one is while loop, another one is do while loop. What are the difference between these things? We'll see it one by one. For loop. See, in generally, why we are using the looping statements? Looping statements is in order to get the value iteratively. Iteratively in the sense, you have a set of values. For example, fruits. Okay, you have array of fruits. Like you have, so many fruits in this banana, apple, okay, orange. So many fruits are there. Now, if you want to, iterate, I want to see all the fruit names. What I have to do? I have to iterate it. I have to iterate the array and I have to print it. Okay, iteration is something like we have a set of values, okay, and in order to take every values of it, we'll go for the looping statements. And how we can do? By using three ways. One is for loop, while loop, and do while loop. So for loop in Java, for loop is used for executing a part of the program again and again. So again and again we are executing it. When the number of execution is fixed, then it is suggested to use for loop. Okay. Okay, so we'll see one by one. For loop, so this is a syntax. Okay, for initialization you will give, condition you will give, and increment or decrement you will give. Okay, see if you see the data flow diagram. So first, now consider I have given I is equal to 0. Okay, initialized. Now condition I'll give I is greater than or equal to 5. So till 5, I have to loop it. That's what the condition is. If it is true, then the statement will get executed and it will check and it will increment or decrement the the for loop. So this thing will get executed. First, JVM comes to the initialization. Second, it will go to the condition, and once condition, okay, it won't go to the increment or decrement. So first initialization condition, it will directly come to the statements. Once the statements complete, then it will go for the increment and decrement. Okay, that phase. And once it is true, once it is incremented decremented, then it will go for the condition. And if it is true, it will get executed. Otherwise, it won't. So that's where this things flow diagram. Initialization happens only once. Okay, condition it will check. If it is true, go for the statement. If it is false, then directly go out of it, out of the for loop. True statement, and then it will go for the increment decrement. And once it is incremented, then it will go for the what conditions. Okay, now this value statement again and again it will keep on increasing, keep on increasing the initialization variables. And once it is true, it executes. Otherwise, it will come out of the loop. So that's what the for loop. When you're going to use the for loop, if you are fixed, this is how many times you are going to iterate it, then you can go for the for loop. Okay, and while loop. What is while loop? In Java, while loop is a control statement. It is used for iterating a part of the program several times. Similarly, similarly to the for loop. But what is the difference between Java for loop and while loop? If when the number of iteration is not fixed, then while loop is used. If you don't know how many times you have to execute, then go for the while loop. Okay, so that is where the while condition comes into picture. And finally, you have the what do while loop. So do while loop is something like in Java, the do while loop is used to execute a part of the program again and again. If the number of iteration is not fixed, then the do while loop is used. Okay, and you have to at least once see the difference between. See, the same thing goes for the while loop also. But what is the difference between do while loop and the while loop? While loop first check the condition and then execute the statement. But do while loop is not like that. Do while loop is something like first execute the statement at least once and then go for the condition. Okay, that's what the difference takes place. So this is the basic syntax for do while loop. Do, you will give the statements inside that, and you will give the condition. Okay, of that while loop conditions. So this is the basic differences between the loop, for loop, while loop, and do while loop. For loop, when you know the exact number, you'll go for the for loop. When you don't know exactly how many times I have to rotate, I have to loop, then go for the while loop. If you know, if you don't know, even how many times you have to execute, but at least one time it has to execute, then go for the do while loop. It is as simple as that, right? So that's what the simple logic. Okay, now let me go for examples. Okay, we'll see one example. Okay, I have okay, I have to stop it, and I have to reshare to the Eclipse. Am I right? Okay. Okay. So we have not seen about the array. Um, okay. So before these loop statements, it would be better if I go with the array concept also. Okay. Maybe that will be better, I guess so. Okay. So yeah, let me stop it once again and share it to the second slides. Okay. Okay. So okay, Java array. I'll just give a introduction. I thought to give this array concept tomorrow, but since we have we are in need of it array, we are in need of for loop and those things are all there is a dependency. So I'll go for the array concept as well. Okay. So normally an array is a collection of similar type of arrays which has contiguous memory location, which means if you see in the C or C++, even there is a we have array. But what is array? Array is something like for similar data type, you will have some set of values. Okay, similar type. Int array means you will have only int array. Okay, if you have float array, then you have only float array. Similarly, for the string array, string array. Okay, character array means you only have the character arrays. That is what the array is all about, right? Maybe in the C or C++, you may have different data types as well. But in Java, we have this kind of approach. Okay, similar type of elements, collection of similar type of approach, similar type of elements. So Java array is an object which contains elements of a similar data type. It is a data structure where we store similar elements. It is a one type of data structure. What is data structure means? It is one type of it is a one type of it is a one way in order to keep your data order organized way in the memory. Okay, that's where array comes into picture. So Java array, how Java array is, it's all about index based. Suppose if you have if you want to create 10 10 rooms of values, maybe we'll see in the examples, you will use it to understand. And the index always starts with 0 and it ends with the length minus 1. Okay, we'll see about this just we can able to easily access the arrays, Java arrays. Okay, so what are the syntax to declare an array in Java? Data type we can give like this, we can give like this, or we can give like this. Okay, even if we have in the public static void main string args, which exactly that we'll see it later. But in generally there string args is there. What it does? Okay, what it does actually means so data type we can give a string bracket this is square bracket. This is how we have to give the array initializations or declarations. Okay, so like this we can give, this is the different fashions or different ways we can give declaring an array. And how we can instantiation is something like we can give like array name or new is equal to new data type int size. Okay, so this is the basic introduction about array. We'll see about the thing in the Eclipse. Okay. So regarding the loop statements. So first, let me go with the array and then I'll go with the loop statements. Then combine together, we'll finish it off. Fine. I know many people will feel hungry at this time, so we'll quickly finish it off. Um, okay. So see, array is how will you going to instantiate an array? You will going to write, how will you write? Int a is equal to new int of. You'll give like this, and you have to specify the size of array. How many size you want to, for how many array of size you want to create. Okay. So for example, I want to create for 10 variables. Okay. Now what it does inside actually, so this is an instantiation we say. Okay. uh, See, if you see this in general, what it does in the sense, so it will create, 10 10 fields of, different rooms. Okay, 10 rooms will be there. Okay, so for each rooms we can, assign the variables, some variables we can assign. For example, this is an array of integer. We have, we can give of 10 length. This is a 10 length, and then okay, this is the int variable. And now for example, if you want to assign, particular value to the int of a is equal to 0, you want to assign, some variable, okay, like 6. Okay, what it does, syntax error. Okay, so I have should not mention, int, because it is already mentioned here. So here, uh, consider, always remember, int array always starts with index 0. So you have to provide the index value 0. So first you have to provide the 0 value as 6, and you want to provide the first variable for the first, in the first room, in the first zeroth room. I mean, like the first room, which is actually, so the 6, you are assigning the valuable value, and then you are assigning the second room to the, some variable, other variables, or even you can assign some, greater variables. For example, in the two, some equal to, you want to, print 90 or something. Okay, I want to, give some, just 5 is enough. Okay, I don't want to give much more. So you want to give, so 3. Okay, so 80, and then yeah, 4. Okay, 87 or something. Okay, so I'm giving something here. Now what happens? I have given a number A. 1 second, just make it silent. Yeah, it's better. Okay, sorry. uh, People are disturbing. Okay, so array, we have, array declared, we have declared the array, and we have instantiated the array. Okay, so int a of 0 may, so, so in a of 0 we have, the value should be 6, and in the first room, in the a of 1, we have the value should be 8, and these are the similar values, right? So now what you want to do, now you want to see what, I want to see the values of this array, okay, by using the loop statements. How we can do? Okay, let's go with the for loop. Int, okay, for, what is the syntax? First you have to give the initialization. For int I is equal to 0. This is the initialization. What is initialization? I have given one variable and I have initialized to some variable which is 0. Mostly in all the, in almost all the things, you will give it as 0. Okay, so int I is equal to 0, and then what is the next syntax? You will give the initialization, then condition I is less than length or size or something. Here we know, the length is 5, or you can even, use the a dot length. Okay, So int I is equal to 0, I is less than 8 at length, or I plus plus. I am incrementing this. Mm, okay. Okay, fine. So for int I is equal to 0, I is less than 8 at length, I plus plus. I have incremented. I have used the increment operator. Okay. So this is what a syntax is, right? For we have to use the initialization, condition, and increment or decrement. Even we can use the decrement operator also. Okay, so we'll see one by one. So what I'm doing, so system.println, I'm just printing it. What I'm printing, array, I have to print the array of each values. What is the each value? Index values. For each index, what are the values is there? Please fetch it, and the JVM will going to fetch that value and show it to you. Okay. So for example, now I have given everything. Okay. Here a dot length refers to the a array ODA length. I mean the length of array, and I plus plus and just doing one by one. So now if you just run this, it will run automatically, right? I think which I ran. Okay. Okay. Now run it. Okay. Now if you see what's happening, system.println. So for each line, you have to print the value. Yeah, the first. Okay, now it will be interesting. Okay, so let put a breakpoint here and try to run it in the debug statement. Debug as Java application. Now we'll see one by one. Okay, fine. Okay, let's see how it works internally. This is very important. Please listen it carefully. If you have any doubts, please let me know. Now see, so directly I have given, so directly it went there in the console. If you see in the console, the below one, here nothing is printing here, right? Now what is there? What is I value for me? See here the I value. What is a? A refers to the array. If you just click it, all the array will be displayed here. What is I? I is the index value, which is our initialization value. So here the I value is 0. What I have to do? I have to fetch each index value one by one, which starts with 0. So the first it will check for the a of 0, and it will go and fetch the a of 0 value and will print it here. And now consider, see, I is equal to 0. Now a of I value. What is a of I? If you see a, what is I here? 0. So obviously array starts with 0. So which means 6 here. So now it will print. If you just click on the next, now see here it got printed. Am I right? 6 got printed. So a of 0 got printed. Now see, now consider what is, now it went to the for loop. Now again what it checks, it go and check, it will increment the I plus plus I have given. What is the current value of I? 0. Now the I plus plus, what it does, it will increment I plus plus is equal to, means I plus plus means I is equal to I plus 1. I is equal to I value is 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1. So I is equal to 1. Okay, now the I value will be incremented. See, the I value previously was 0. Now it got incremented and came back to, and I value will check here. Okay, so I value is 1. 1 is less than 8 at length. What is 8 at length? A value is 5. So 8 at length will be obviously 5. So I is 1. 1 is less than 5. So it is condition is true or not. So it is true. So it will go and it will return the A of I value is 1. So it will check the A of 1. So the first index, second index value. So and it will see the sixth, after the sixth, the second value will get printed. See, you got its point, right? And again it will go to the increment operator. Again the see, I again here I value is 1. Here the the breakpoint is here. Control, the JVM control is here. I plus plus. Now the control in the increment will happen. Now I value should be 2, right? It got 2. It had to check, it would have checked actually the I value 2. So 2 is less than 5, so which is true. Again it will print the value of the next value 2, so which is 90. Again it does the same thing, and it, that's why it's called as loop. Until and unless the condition is true, you have to execute it, and if it is false, just out of it, come out of it. See, I am printing again. Now it is still printing. Now it got printed and the value is I is equal to 4. Now consider the last scenario. I value is 4 and the length value is 5 because we have given the value as 5. So 4 is less than 5. It is true and a. Now uh, see now the I value is not yet incremented. I value is 4. If it is get incremented, then it won't be here. Okay. Now if you see next, I value got incremented to 5 and it will check 5 is less than 5, which is condition is false. So it will directly comes out of it. That's why it didn't go inside it. Okay. So the whatever the expected output, the desired output we got it. So that's what about the array and for loop. You got it, my point? I hope you got it right. Okay. Similarly, for the while loop, you can use while I is while I is should be greater than, okay, should be less than 5. Okay. Now let me give something here. Instead of I, we can initialize some variable. Okay. Int j is equal to, I'll give like 5. Okay. Okay. Okay, now I want to decrement. I want to, see 6, 8. This is the order. Okay. This is 6 zeroth index, first index, second index. This is the way. Now in the while loop, we'll see, to traverse it, to reverse it. First, I have to print the last index, then next index, then next. I have to just reverse it. 87, 80, 98, 6. I have to reverse it. How can I do? We can use the decrement operator. Okay. Now we'll see one by one. Okay. So while j is less than 5, now we'll see. So what happens? So here you need to print it, system.println, and you have to give a of j, and here you have to, what you have to do? You have to decrement the j minus minus. Okay, basically what I'm trying to do. Okay, so give it here, and j is less than 5. Okay, here I'll also give like system.println in okay, I'll give like just while loop so that you can differentiate between for loop and while loop, the output. Okay, so listen to this. So while loop, here what we are trying to do, j is less than 5, system.println of j minus minus. So first j value is equal to 5. So you should have this habit of checking the value correctly. You have to put it in the correct statements, and you need to iterate it by yourself. Okay, now for example, j is equal to 5. So j is less than, here 5 is less than 5. So it will not come. So what I have to do? You have to give it as 4, which is wrong. Okay, so 4. Now 4 is less than 5. Is it correct or not? True. So what will happen? System.println a of j. So a of j value is 4. So a of j. So fourth value will get printed. The last value will get printed. Am I right? This is a of 0, this is a of 4. So obviously I'm printing the a of 4. So a of 4 will get printed, 87 will get printed. And now here in the for loop, we have incremented because in the 0th index, obviously I have to increment 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. But here, since I have to reverse it, I have to decrement the index values, one by one. Okay. So hope you guys are getting. Let's see, what it's print. Okay, see, if you see here, what happens? A of 0, 0, that is also a possible value, right? And you can see here like, okay. So what happens here? 87, the reverse thing got changed. 87, 80, 90, 86. Our desired output we got it, but we also got array index out of bound exception. Why we got this? Because if you see here, j value is minus minus. Okay. Okay. So if the j value is minus minus j, now consider till here what happens, the j value will be 0. Now again, if you see here, e of 0 is 6, it will get printed. Now j value is 0, 0 minus 1, it's the value is j is equal to minus 1. If you go and see here, minus 1 is less than 5. Is it correct or not? Is it? It's true. So again, it will go to the system.println. And if you see here, a of minus 1, if you try to, print this a of minus 1, we don't have any value for that. That's why, it will throw the exception like array index out of bound exception. Hence, in order to deal with this, we have, exception handling and all. We can see it maybe in that tomorrow's class, or maybe in tomorrow class. Okay. So basically, how can we, rectify this? Can somebody give me, any idea? Like how can we rectify this so that we cannot have this exception here? Okay, I think nobody will going to say anything. So it's better to give by myself. J is not equal to 0.
Shobhai,
Okay.
someone has given his opinion. Please look for his.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I have not seen the chat. Uh, okay. So J is equal to 4. J is less than a dot length. J minus minus. That's fine. Yeah. Good, Rafiq. Thanks. So this is also a good idea. Okay. So we are just instead of while loop, yeah, we can go for the while loop in the for loop. So for loop we can iterate in that way. Okay, for a dot length and j minus minus. But in the while loop, we have to do that like that. If we are strict to the while loop, then we can go ahead with this. If it is in the if you have to use the for loop, then we can go with the Rafiq suggestion, right? Okay, so here we can restrict it to j is not equal to 0, then we can print it. Now if you try to run it, so those things are printing or not equal to, or see the last value is not printing. Again, this is not a proper solution, efficient solution, right? Only the 4 values printing. Where is the last one? Sixth. Where is this value? Sixth is not printing. So what I have to do? Now can somebody give me the idea now? I did one small mistake here. Can somebody give me the idea? I'm looking at the chat also. Come on, can you try? At least give it a try. No need. No, I mean, if it is, then it is well done good. If it is wrong, then also well done good. Because at least we have a courage to say something, right? And we can rectify it. Maybe we can give j is equal to 5. Put 5 in the while statement. Put 5 in the while statement. No, because see, j is equal to 4. Here we are decrementing it. If we are giving j as 5, how? I mean, like, so obviously the 5 we are not getting, right. So either we'll get 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, minus 1, minus 2. Like that only it will go, right. So how can we give j is equal to 5? Think about it in a different perspective, maybe. Okay, j is equal to 0. Consider, suppose if j is equal to 0, let's see if j is equal to 0 works fine or not. Okay, now if you are see what happens now. Just see this. the first statement itself will be wrong. In j is equal to 4. Now j is 4. So here the 4 is equal to 0. So obviously the while condition itself will not go. So obviously nothing will get printed, right? Okay. Okay. So I think I'll give myself. So j is not equal to 0. See, it's very simple, right? J is not equal to 0. If you give only the four things will be printed. Now what you have to say here is, here the value should not be -1. Okay, now shall we see this? That is printing correctly. Yeah, now it is printing without any exception. Am I right? It should not be equal to -1. You can have the breakpoint, in the region time, maybe after the session, you can have the breakpoint here and here. You can just go for the debug mode, check it, what exactly it comes. You can, then only you can, suppose if you have given the j is equal to 4, j is equal to 0, or j is equal to 5, what happens exactly, you will come to know. In this way, you will, the decision making will be good. Okay. So that's what about this basic, loop statements here. So any queries here? If you have any queries, please let me know. We also have a switch statement. Maybe okay, we'll quickly finish the switch statements and then finish it off. Okay. Okay, so let me share the screen of PPT last once again. And okay, this is not the correct thing. 1 second, stop it, reshare to the correct string. And here I wanted to tell you about jump statements. Jump statements are break statement and continue statement. Okay, so we'll see about break statement and continue statement now. In Okay, what is break statement? In Java, a break statement is used inside a loop. The loop is terminated immediately when a break statement is encountered and resumes from the next statement. Okay, what it says, break statement is something, if you are in the for loop and once you get the desired output, just break it. Don't need to keep on looping, right? That is what the break statement comes into picture. And continue statement is similar to that, but in Java the continue statement is used in loops. Continue statement is used to jump to the next iteration for a loop immediately. It is used with the for loop, while loop, and do while loop. We'll see about these statements and then we'll finish it off. Okay, guys, if you have doubts, please ask me. So go to the Eclipse. I have to talk about break statements and continue statements. Okay, so let make it easier. Okay, so we have, in Java we can also use for comments. In Eclipse, if you use Control Shift and slash, it will get commented. Okay, wow. So it will get commented in the sense these things will not execute by the Java. Okay, so let's consider only the for loop and how what we have to do in this we'll see. Okay, so what exactly we are trying to do? We are trying to break the statements, right? Okay, now consider I want to print only the what to say. Okay, now I knows the value. Okay, for example, I have the value 6, 8, 90, 80, 87. Now, if I have got the value is something, okay, like for example 80, what is I? For example 90. I want to break within 90 itself. I don't want to go exaggerate it. I want to break in the 90 itself. See, my point is here, 6, 8, 90, 80, 85. I know I better I'll give, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because you can easily relate to this, that will be easy for you to understand. Okay. So I have given some values here. Suppose if I have given 3 and I want to break the statements in 3 itself. I don't want to print once I get this value. Okay, that's fine. So that is okay, fine. But I don't want to go for the next looping statements. Okay. So for that, what I have to do, that's where the break comes into picture. Okay. Okay. So this is I. Okay. See, I'll break it. Okay. Now guys, see this one. I'll just run this statement. Now, if you see, in generally, if I'm not printing the break statement, what happens? And if I print the break statement, what happens? If we didn't give the break statement, all the 1 2 3 4 5, all these things will get executed. Okay. Suppose if I have given some break statements by some conditions. Okay. Now what happens if I save it and run it? Now what happened? Three break, in a sense, it will just come out of the for loop. If it won't go to the, it won't increment, it won't do any, any further processes. It will directly come out of the for loop and prints the whatever the things, it has been already. So that's what about the break statement. And instead of the break statement, if you use the continue statement, let's see what happens in the continue statement. So if you execute this, okay, so even in the, even in this one, continue statement, those things will get executed, even though if it is right or not. Okay. Maybe I'll just give it here. It's so. See, in the continuous statement, what happens? Here it is printing, and again in the, this will check actually, the continuous statement will check whether if it is we can continue or not. We can continue the for loop or not. If it is not there, then we can directly, leave that. Okay. For example, if it is 6, what's gonna happen? Then we'll see. Okay, so all the statement will get executed. If it is not equal to 6, then also statement will get executed. See, break statement will simply, it will just come out of the loop. Okay, continue statement is something like if it is true and these things are matching, then just keep on looping it. That's what we'll say. It is just an opposite of continue, a break. Okay, so that's what about the looping statements. And I have left for the switch statements alone. Maybe we'll just finish that also. Okay, so let this last one. So I'll go, I mean, I'll give for the switch statements demo, switch demo. I'll give with the main. Okay, so switch is very easier. I mean, like based on the conditions, we'll give the values. For example, I'll give the character as something. Okay, okay. So something. So switch statement you will give. Okay, now you will give it as um, switch ch, and what to say. Okay, so here you have to give like this, and here what you have. So here you have to use the case. If you have, use the check the syntax, you might have, noticed that switch statement has cases. Okay, so case. So based on the character, if it is character, then use the character. If it is string, use the case as string. Okay, now if it is a, what you have to do. Okay, so if it is case this, then what you have to do. Okay, so what is the syntax? 1 second. Yeah, so we won't get the, bracket. This is the wrong syntax. Okay, and if it is case a, then what you have to do, a printed give something. Okay, wow. one second. Then use the break statement, use semicolon, and what else? Okay, let me understand this. This is a character. Okay, maybe otherwise you can give the int data type. As of now, we'll give the int data type. Int a is equal to something 2, and I'm giving here as a, and here if the case is 1, print the value as 1. Okay, I think I have to give like this. Yeah. Okay, 1 second here. This character itself is better. I've given the wrong you know wrong syntax. So character, if it will go in the switch case, and if the case is a, so the a will get printed. Okay, so a printed. So similarly, I have to use a case b, then system.println b printed. Something you can give. Okay, I'm just giving some idea, and you can give some break statement. And if you don't want anything to go, you can even give for the default or println default values. Okay, so this is a basic about switch cases. Now you guys might have understood already what will be the output. So here character ch is equal to c, and I have given c. What will be the output? Can somebody guess? Can somebody guess the output and put it in the chat? Okay, I think the time is up going. I have to finish it. So let me run this. It is still in loop statement. So just sometimes the things will not come here. Okay, so used run as Java applications. Okay, now default values is printing. Why? Because the character ch is c. I have given c, but here we don't have any c character. A is there, b is there, and we don't have any c. So directly go to the default statement. Whatever is there in that, it will get printed. Now consider, suppose if I have given a, what will be printed? Mostly many of them have guessed correctly. So obviously a is printed. Because directly go to the a statement. It is just similar to the nested if statement, if else if ladder we have seen, right? But the major difference between else if ladder, if else if ladder and switch statement is there each and everything, if else if, everything will get checked. If it is true or not, if it is true or not, then the printing will happen. Here in the switch case, directly come to the, ch, it will check the switch, whichever the switch is correct corresponding to the case, directly go to the case and just print it, right? So that's how the the switch statement is. That's what about the switch statement. So yeah, guys. So that's it about today's session. If you have any queries or if you have any something, please let me know. And if you have any question and answer, please let me know. You can please mute unmute yourself, and you can ask the question if you have anything. Hello. Faraz, Farzan?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, Farzan.
Someone is
Okay.
typing.
Someone is typing. Okay. Why don't we have any, the facility of unmuting and, talking to, asking the questions?
No, we do have. It's on their control that they have to unmute themselves.
Oh, okay, okay, fine. That's fine. Uh, I think we didn't get any questions yet. I hope nobody has any doubts. Super.
If you want to
Maybe.
speak up, it's also a better option. You can unmute yourself and you can speak.
I think okay, Farzan. So nobody has any questions.
Uh,
Maybe if you
Typing,
have
I
any. Okay.
let them do the work.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, Rafiq. Sure. I'll tell you tomorrow about this JD and Eclipse. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks, Rafiq. Yeah. Thank you. So I think we're done for the day. So if you have any queries or if you have any concerns, please let us know. In the WhatsApp group chat or even individually you can also ping me. Okay. And before we end this session, yeah, sure, we'll share the PPT also. Okay. Yeah, sure, Gani. We'll do that. And before we end this session, Farzan, I'm requesting you to, can you please just play that video so that people can have a glance about what happens if the Java is not exist.
Could you share the
Maybe
link chat box so that I
yeah, yeah, sure. I'll put it that.
you know that we are actually sorry for everyone that we are actually beyond the time, but we are requesting for
Yeah,
everyone that to stay for 5 minutes. We'll be concluding very soon.
yeah. Just 3 minute video.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to watch. That's why I wanted to. Yeah. Um, I'll put it in the chat. You can just go ahead and share the screen. Okay.
So those who want, you can copy this link for your later reference also.
Farzan, are you sharing the screen?
Yeah, I'm trying to open the YouTube now.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. I hope you got to learn something today. If you have any queries, please do let us know. Okay. In tomorrow's session, just to have a glance, like tomorrow we'll be uh, learning about object-oriented programming and the basic concepts about object-oriented programming. Like so many things are there, right? In that, so those things we'll see, and also I'll tell you some basic learning resources materials are. How can you prepare for the interview, some glance about it. Okay, so that's for tomorrow. We'll see tomorrow of the section that anyone record the screen. I think when we can't able to hear. Hello, Farzan.
Can everybody see my screen now?
I can't able to see actually. Now screen is coming. Now just play it whether it is the audio is coming or not. We have to see.
Audio is audible now?
No, the audio is not audible actually. Maybe we may have some different settings in this. In Zoom it was easy actually, but in Microsoft Teams it was a little bit difficult to understand that.
So actually, we have shared some screen. I mean, we have provided the link. So those who are
Yeah,
interested
guys.
can
Yeah, yeah. Even you guys can
yeah.
go it individually. Yeah, that's fine then. Yeah, okay, guys. Then we are good for the day, right? Yeah, okay, Farzan. Then we'll close this session now. Okay.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
you have
okay.
kind of queries, you can just drop your questions on the WhatsApp group that you have already joined. So also I have announcement that we have a quiz session. So we'll be sending you the link in the WhatsApp group. You will be having some 15 questions. The you have to submit till tomorrow.
Whenever you have free time, just it will hardly 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Just yeah, just
Mostly
show your
we
curiosity and do it. 15 minutes itself. Yeah.
So also we have like that those who performs well into the quiz, it we will showcase your name and appreciate in your Facebook page. We have recently created a Facebook page. At the end of this session on tomorrow, we'll share it off everything.
Okay,
Uh,
guys. Thank you.
Rafiq,
Thank you so much.
Rafiq, instead of sharing this into the screen, I guess it will be better option for you to click on the YouTube link that we have provided and you see it individually.
I think he's talking about the whole session, you know, whole session about yeah, Farzan.
About the whole session, no. Actually, it is a 4 hours.
Is that am I right, Rafiq, or you have a different whole section? Yeah,
Whole
he's
session.
asking about whole
That's
section.
actually not possible to provide it into the YouTube because it is a paid session. So if I upload into the YouTube, it will be free of cost. So it doesn't make any sense. So this session would not be uploaded on YouTube, and neither it will be available for a later purpose.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thanks, guys. So thank you so much for your time. Have a nice day. We'll meet tomorrow at the same time, 10:30. Is that fine?
Yeah. 10:30 is the same. Actually, today we had a very long session, but tomorrow
Yeah,
we'll
yeah. Sorry for that. Yeah.
tomorrow we will directly kick into the main section. Tomorrow is the important session. We will have a OPS concept as well as a data structure concept. So be on time. Uh, within half an hour, you will also receive a quiz link. Take your time and submit it.
Yeah.
Yes, the session. Thank you for joining with us, and you can leave now.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks for time. Bye.
Zahib Afnan, you can get out now.
Yes, sir.